All right. Now it should work. Yep, it does. All right. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I finally finished it. So, this is the total final product of what I have been working on for 3 days, and I'm very satisfied upon it. Wow. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well today, and I'm gonna be doing some self-reflection on to see what was the hardest part of this and how it turned out to be, and see where it leads me. So, no further ado, let's get started. So, as you can see, I'll pick up the. I'll also load up the PNG file as well because, well, it's easy to understand. So as you can see here, the PNG file, we have like multiple things that were very hard to do. One of the things that was, well, I'll pick up the WebPNG instead. PNG file is a little bit, yeah, but PNG is easier to understand. So this part right here was a very hard thing to do. I'll put it in red. Oh, blue. Blue is better because I can see it. So this part right here was one of the most hardest things for me to do, which is positioning, reusing the character that I already had, which was right here. Reusing it, transforming it into the drawing that I have right here, and then use that to create the idea. So that was one of the things that I had to be realizing. So there's one. And two was, creating the pie, which took also pretty long, if I must say myself. And designing the background, which is three, which was, it was a very hard thing to do in 1 hour. I must say the design would take around 1 to 4 hours. And then the cake itself would took like 4 to 8 hours, I believe, and then the background took actually the most of the time, which was actually 4 till let's see, uh, I would say 4 till 10, I believe. So as you can see, I tried to do my very best here to create the drawing. One of the things that you can see, and we'll switch to another color so that you can see. One of the things that has been done is this effect right here, which creates like a holy aura that comes down from the sky. It's a lamp, let's put it that way, and I put it around the whole damn thing. So I put it like around here. And with the cake, for instance, the cake actually has, oh, yep, the cake actually has a lot of glow right here underneath it, right here and here, and that also is like a little well, floating effect on it. And well, the character itself is very easy to differentiate from the background because I blurred out the background a bit. So I did that to make sure that the character and the cake is actually put into a right perspective. So if I now do this and I say no, that will work, right? Yes, it does. And then open it again so that we can and I put like a little layer on it so that we don't have to deal with it. So yeah, a lot of stuff have happened. One of the most difficult parts I had was actually drawing the hair. It's one of the most hardest things for me to do. That and the design of the clothing took quite a long time because I was like realizing to see what kind of idea I need with it and what and how I need to make it look lively. Then the redesign of the cake itself was multiple times. I did it for like 1, 2, 3, 4 times, I believe, before I got a final result of the cake itself that I had to redraw. And with the character design itself with the hair, ugh, I had it like 1, 2, 3 times. No, 3 times actually in total. I had to redraw it 3 times before I had a good look at it. So if you look like, for instance, now if we hop back to the original one, and we can see, and we put like everything off, we can then see, yes, you can see that the you can technically see that the groups are decent. So I'm very happy upon that I actually did the groups correctly this time, instead of, you know, not doing it perfectly. And I believe right over here, yes, here we have the layers that I need. So this was the drawing before. As you can see, it's a little bit messy, definitely. And you can see that, yeah, I did some work on it. I did some drawing on it, and you can see that if you look at, for instance, the sketch here, it is definitely pretty pretty hard to do sometimes. But yeah. So this was the drawing, and this was the full drawing of it. Where is it? No, not there. Is it in this one? No. Let's see. Putting away so much time. Putting away so much stuff is. Nope. Where is it then? There it is. So as you can see, this is the drawing, and this is the full drawing, and you can see that yeah, I did some work on the hair. I did some work on, you know, making it more wavy, which was important. And I fixed the size of the face a little bit more better. And you can see that, yeah, the clothing is much more, you know, in the right way of doing it properly. Compare the bananas to what I did with the end. So if you look at, for instance, the bananas themselves, you can see that that is actually how it looks like. So if you have, I had this like idea of how I want to do it, and then, you know, if I add this in there, it looks fine. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened with this, and I very am happy upon the final result of it. As you can see, that's how the whole thing turns out to be. So yeah, a lot of it is actually quite easy to understand. So no further ado, I would say this was actually quite a good success upon how I drew. Of course, you know, there are always things that I can do better than before, but, you know, I don't always have that much time to do it, and this thing I actually wanted to be done in 3 days because of it was like, you know, a little bit of a celebration. That's all it was. And I must say, for what I did with it, the design, the ideas that I came up with, and, you know, of course, you know, a final product is always different than, you know, the end result if you do it again. Of course, then it will change because you then have you have more knowledge upon it. But yeah, what would I do if I would have done this again? I would have probably drew it on a bigger amount of pixels. Why would I do that? Because then I would have a far more cleaner view of it. Right now, it is getting there. It's getting better, definitely. But the limited amount of pixels that I have right now, it's 500 by 500, 512 by 512. It limit me on designing the person, designing the cake, and it caused a lot of issues in the background. So if I would have increased it to 1000 by 1000, it would have been better. Because if I would have used, like, for instance, with the let's see here it is. If I use if I look at the pixelation of the wizard, for instance, it is a far better amount of pixels that I can work around with, which causes a lot more detail to be there, but also it also brings a very fair warning with it that it can cause certain types of drawings to be. You need to be very very alert upon how the background is drawn, so that you don't waste the pixels that you are increasing. So if I would have drawn this in a tinier pixel roster, this would have been lesser than before. So yeah, because of the limitation of the 12 pixels. Of course, it's a very tiny drawing then because of it, but it did cause a lot of issues with the designing of the character, designing of the hair, and it didn't feel like the same amount of quality than, for instance, right here with the thumbnail. For instance, with the thumbnail, it has a far more bigger reach of pixels, and therefore, you can get more stuff out of it, and that was lacking. If I would have, if I would have done this again, I would have definitely used a bigger screen, like more pixels, just to get that far better look on it. The only downside it is then is that the drawing amount is gonna be not the same because, well, you have more pixels, therefore you're gonna get more detail in it technically. So yeah, I need to be very aware of it, and it's gonna get a bigger size, and bigger stuff means more stuff to draw in. So yeah, but for the rest, it's all fine. I'm very fond of how the cake looks, and the character itself. I am very fond of it, and the blurred out bananas in the background that are flying upwards is a very satisfying thing to look at. Anyway, I think I did my self-reflection there right. Are there any improvements necessary? Probably on the cake. If I would have done multiple, if I would have drawn more cakes over the time, drawing food is quite hard for me sometimes. I think I would have done better. So far, the character, yeah, the character actually looks quite clean. I am very satisfied upon how it looks. The clothing does look the same as the clothing that it is. Of course, there are some nitpickings here. One of the nitpickings is that I did this part right here that is technically going like here upwards, but because it has no connection between the hand and the shoulder, it looks a little bit weird than if I would have not have it. But for the rest, it looks nice. I'm very satisfied with the hair. It gives a good feeling towards it, and yeah, the holy banana cake is it's a very nice cake. I must say myself, I'm very satisfied with it. So, no further ado, I think that's it for the self-reflection of today, and yeah, I cannot wait for I cannot wait for next week to work with the work on the visual novel again. That's for sure. All right. I hope you all have enjoyed this little commentary about me ranting on upon the drawing and see what I need to improve or what I could have done better. Because it's very important to do such a thing because, well, self-reflection causes you to increase in better quality, and therefore you need to do it. Normally you should have done it like if well, you know what we're gonna do the self-reflection a little bit further. I feel like I can do that. So behold, if we compare this drawing from a drawing, let's see, properties please. Oh, properties. I want to know what year this was. A year ago. Okay. So if we look at this drawing from a year ago, compare this to the drawing that we have right here. All right. We have now two drawings. We have this drawing, number 1 that we have, and number 8. Both have a cake. All right. Both have lovely little drawing on it. So what I have done now by comparing this to the other one right here, you can see that there is some bigger improvement in the background. The background feels much more better to look at, and it feels less empty, which is a very good thing to do. The cake on the drawing style has been improved. The cake on how it looks like, the color usage, it feels far more realistic than to look at when you look at this one right here. Of course, this has a little text bar that says You know, a cherry on top is tradition, and you know, tradition. Yeah, a cherry on top is tradition. That's the whole joke about this. And you know, with the bomb on it, yeah, the bomb is one of the most common used well, images that I normally use. So yeah, this was one from 1 year ago, and now we have this. So yeah, I think I'm improving. If I would change up this character and I use a different character, I can do that. And you can get more out of it. Danny Smith, a lot of improvements. Nicely done. Thanks, Danny. But yeah, for instance here, if you look at this drawing right here and you look at this drawing right here, the whole how do I do this? I need to have this one right. Yeah. Oh, come on. So if I yeah, I can do this. All right. So this whole effect right here, the whole aura that she gives away by celebrating this banana cake, which is very holy and indeed and heavenly cake. You can see that the bomb presents only this, the eye focus. The eye looks at this and then looks at this and is be done, and then it closes its eye and be like, ah, all right, I have seen everything. All right, what is more to look at? Nothing. If you look at this, for instance, I will move this and I will do it again. If you look at this and you have the eye, all right, you have the eye look at things. Well, the eye will look at this, for instance, first, and then once it looks at this, it can connect that towards this side. It can connect it to this, because the eye looks at this. It sees the person celebrating about this lovely cake, so it moves the eye towards here, and then it looks like yes, and then big sniff like yes, what is over there, and then and then it moves towards the background. But because of the amount of stuff that is going in the background, you see the bananas going upwards, and you see the holy effect on top of it. It feels very warm. So the eyes are like, yeah, this is some good stuff to do. Yeah, there you go. Meh. Yeah, and it's gonna be like meh. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lovely little vibe that it gives away. It's a very warm picture. It's not very industrialist. It's very warm. It's very celebrating and very nice. And if you look at this, it's like, yeah, I get the picture. I get what is going on, but it doesn't have the feelings. It doesn't have the feels. There you go. It doesn't have the feels. The main problem with the bomb in most cases of my drawing, I know, is that the bomb, the expressions of the bomb are limited because of the eyes. It only can, look that way, or look upwards, like that. And maybe, it can be doing this, being scared, but, being happy is a very different idea. Like, it can do this, it can do that. But happy is very difficult with a bomb, because then you have closed eyes and you have already gray on top of it. So, if you have a happy bomb, it's a very difficult one to do. So, yeah. That's always a problem with the icon. I don't mind, that's why I'm always drawing it in, like, these lovely little adventures that it has, like, where is it? If you look at the bomb right here, for instance, you can see that, yeah. For instance, if you look at this one, it is a very different. It has still the same bomb. It does have the same. It has. It doesn't have the same. It does have the same art style a bit, but it's a little bit different. One of the things that is different from this art style compared to this art style, for instance, and if you compare it towards this one right here, yeah, it this thing right here, that is a very nice looking drawing with good vibes towards it. It is very hypnotic kind of feeling towards it, and you can see stuff around it. So if you look at the background right here, you can see stuff. If you look back in here, you can see stuff. Here you can see stuff, and you can see the bomb. It gives this watery feeling towards it, which is very nice because it is all around this portal, and it has like a shimmering effect on it. If you look at this, for instance, right here, you can see that it's a far more toony appearance, which is a very important thing to do because the toony appearance needs to be there. That is a thing that needs to be there to give the feeling towards it. So you have multiple things. You have this thing right here that is inside of the drawing, waving upon the tidal waves, and then you have like Mina being very pissed about something because she sees the use of this item and she's like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. So yeah, of course, it's not yet the best. It's there are some issues with this thumbnail. Of course, I could have done better. Probably on Rufina, definitely. Lola, I don't know. And Lola was actually one of the more better ones, and yeah, her eyes are correct. But Rufina, the face is a little bit too big. She looks a little bit too goofy in most cases right now. She looks like she looks like this. Hey, oh. Like I can now draw it. She looks like this a bit. Of course, it's a little bit yeah, it's of course, that's not what I mean, but you get the point later on, I believe. So yeah, a lot of improvements I'm very happy upon this. A lot of things have happened, and yeah, it's a great success. I successfully made some cake. I baked it. I made it look nicely, and it looks delicious. So, no further ado, I would say I end it here. So, everybody, have a lovely day, and I wish you the best of days today, because I have. And I hope I'll see you all next time. Until then, I want to wish you a lovely day, and bye!